traditionally, miscarriage has been pushed under the rug. People don't talk about it, it's taboo. We're told, wait 12 weeks until you even share your news. But that needs to change because it leads to a lot of mental health issues, I think, because we're just shoving down this grief. We're shoving it down. We think, I have no right to grieve this loss. But the reality is that it is a loss and it is grief, and we need to deal with it. I became the 1 in 4 or 1 in 3 back in April of 2015. So that was when I experienced my first pregnancy loss, and prior to that I didn't know anyone who had lost a baby, or I didn't know anyone close to me who had. My husband was on the other side of the world. So I went to the appointment by myself thinking that everything was fine because I had no experience with loss at all. And so I went into the appointment and the ultrasound tech, did their scans. And then she said to me, I just need to go check to make sure that the pictures are showing up okay. My shirt was still up. I still had that gel on my belly. So all these thoughts started running through my mind. I was like, something's wrong. Why is she taking so long? Thomas isn't even here. And then I would convince myself, everything's fine, you're just freaking out, it's fine. And then seconds turned into minutes, which I think she was gone for probably half an hour. And the whole time I just laid there. And she came back in. The ultrasound tech came back in with a doctor that I haven't seen before. And I knew as soon as she came in that something was wrong. And I didn't know what it was, but my heart sank as soon as they both walked into the room, and they said to me, we're so sorry, but your baby doesn't have a heartbeat. I just started bawling. I don't think I've ever cried like that before. And so then I had to call my husband and tell him that our baby had died. After that, we had to navigate what we were going to do. So we were 20 weeks, almost 21 weeks, and I was going to have to deliver the baby. I made the decision to deliver the next day, even though Thomas wasn't around. And I was induced and I had to give labor. I remember in those moments afterwards thinking, how am I supposed to navigate this? And I started to realize very quickly that there was a whole army of us who have experienced this heartbreaking kind of loss. After that, I experienced 2 more early pregnancy losses at 5 weeks and 9 weeks. And the 9-week one was also equally devastating. I thought I was dying. I was bleeding really heavy. So when I got pregnant with Eliana and during our entire pregnancy with her, I was on high alert because I thought we could lose this baby at any moment. Because the reality is once you're marked by pregnancy loss, you know how wrong it can go. The whole time with her, I thought, well, we'll see if she even makes it. We'll see if she even makes it. But I had this mentality that when we got pregnant with our rainbow baby, which is a baby born after loss, that it would just make everything go away. So when she was born, the grief from my 3 previous losses resurfaced, and it was a really dark season. So I think I struggled with postpartum depression as well as unresolved grief. And I remember those first 3 or 4 months after she was born, I remember thinking, isn't it supposed to be better than this? Why am I not happy? I wanted something practical that I could do with my hands that helped me work through my grief. So I taught myself how to crochet by watching YouTube videos. And then a friend had asked, oh, would you ever consider selling these? And I thought, oh, this is a good idea. Maybe I can make a business out of this. I knew that the essence of my small business had to be my story. Josiah is the name of our first baby that we had lost, and Co represented our other 2 early pregnancy losses, but also all the babies that have been lost through pregnancy loss. So I started selling my slippers here in Hamilton, where I got to showcase my work for the very first time. And that kind of threw me into this world of creative entrepreneurship and selling my creations at markets and online. And then I got connected with the Modern Mom show in London. And I remember at the show, I had an opportunity for women to come and write down the names of their heaven babies or the name of a baby that someone had lost. I remember one couple, it was at one of my very first shows. The husband came up to my booth at this show and he said, "My wife is pregnant now, but we had a loss too. And we really love what you're doing to honor those babies." I started like sobbing at this market. And that for me, I was like, this is why I'm doing this. This is why. And I've had people too even send me private messages on Instagram saying, "I appreciate how honest and vulnerable you are in sharing your story, in talking about the good and the bad and the ugly." And it's made me realize like, oh, these thoughts are normal. I'm not the only one thinking these crazy things. We can learn how to walk with grief and joy together, hand in hand. And I want women to be able to walk away saying, life is heavy, but it feels a little less heavy now that I've been in the presence of these other women. I am Melissa Sulley. I am a recurrent miscarriage survivor and a crochet artist, and I run a little business called Josiah+Co.